all of you wonderful people. If you have watched any of my recent content, you know that I can take a 6-minute, 7-second video and talk about it for 2 hours. So here to make sure I don't talk for even more hours is Arail Stormgate. Hi, Arail. It's good to have you with me.
Hello.
Now,
I'm gonna make sure to make video max 1 hour, no worry.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you very much. Not least because I can't be trusted, and also let's get into it. I'll just let people know if you're not here for the kind of pixel stopping checking that is going to come to get as much information as possible. You just don't know who I am, and I suspect you don't know who Arail is either. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to start with the one I think fewest people have seen. And no, Arail, this is not the time for me to flex my German. This is actually, we're just going to react to what we see on screen visually. And this is going to be the FYNG show Cactus über 25 Gaming Premieren live auf YouTube mit AK and Maris Weber. We have zoomed forward to 2 minutes 5 seconds, 2 hours 5 minutes 33 seconds of the show. And we're going to be looking at all of this. I'm going to start we're going to stop and pause before we even start, because first thing I'm seeing, Arail, on this, I think I'm sharing my screen with you, is we are seeing what seems to be the Raptor, or the command structure that flies you in the beginning of Mission 1. There's going to be this really attractive animation that's going to play. Okay. And that seems to be the introduction to Mission 1. So let's see. Any thoughts on this? You think it'll look better? Yes, no?
Yeah, much better, and I'm like how the Mission 1 looks like.
Yep.
And you can say this is Mission 1 based that Amara have no levels.
Yeah, Amara has no levels. The level on a macro level, if you've played a lot of RTS, we'll get to this to showing it, but there's a campaign objective that she should not die. That's typically done before there is a respawn that's been created, if we think about something like Warcraft 3. I do want to note right here that as we're flying in, there's probably a cutscene or something where we get dropped off, because I see units that are already spawned down here in the bottom. And then when we go to the next part, which is supposed to be a clear continuation because we're in snow, right? We actually see a picture here, and I've got it on HD 1080p. Any faults of this are just the faults of my computer. We can see that we're 39 seconds in, and like you're saying, Amara doesn't have a level. We'll notice later that Blockade and Riker do in fact have levels. I want to notice a couple of things here. Is that first off, we started off with 2 of those red fire spewing Vulcans that'll become obvious shortly. But we also start with Exos, and I have no idea what this unit is. I think you told me what it was before.
Yes, this is Exo with rocket launcher.
Okay,
from
cool.
the co-op.
Okay. Something else I want to check is that we only have one ability. If you play the campaign, you know Amara has more than one ability. So we're going to note that she's probably starting off at level 0. And also, we still have the 6 item slots that are above the center portion of the UI, where you see the unit selection. So we're probably still going to have items. Any thoughts on items, Arail?
They should be in the different spot. I don't like the position of the items.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
I can agree that we can have items in the game, but the UI has to change. I don't like how it looks right now.
Yeah, I might have it.
I want backpack.
Yeah. Please. Oh, so you want more than 6? You want like what? Like 24 items, just passively stacking things together, like potions. Where between Warcraft 3 and WoW do you want items? Like how many items do you want, you think?
Right now, if you played the current campaign, you know that if you take a look on the map, you're gonna have full equipment after just first mission. And then you have to choose between throwing away the potion, and in the end you have no potion at all in equipment.
You just have the passives that like increase HP regen, bonus damage. You just have the one like bonus
movement
armor.
Speed.
Yeah, the ones that are actually good, not the temporary health potions. So
yeah, the backpack will help that, because for example you need potion in the fight, so you can take it from the backpack, put it into your inventory, and do this micro like they do in the Warcraft 3, for example.
Yep,
they give one items to one champion.
I will give some kudos here, Arail, to the way that the first mission is structured, if this is in fact the first mission, because you see it's cold, it's snow, it's white, with some grays, maybe the barest tinges of blue. This actually means, while I would normally imagine you start with neutral weather, starting with this actually means that the heat and the light sources from Amara and from these Flame Vulcans are going to be pretty good. We're also going to see some changes to the Infernals that probably are a more exciting or visceral or pop to a greater extent because of the snow, right? And because of the backdrop.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to assume, so we're on the next part of the mission. We can tell it's the next part because we've gone from 39 seconds to 1 minute 8 seconds. We can see the Vulcans in the back here. I did notice something lore-wise I haven't seen anyone catch on to, which is that the picture, I mentioned this to you beforehand, the picture right here of the skull that we're seeing that signifies this is an infernal structure, maybe a new infernal shroud stone. Who's to say, right? A new meat farm, a new shroud stone, a new tech building, something like this. This is part of that rework that we were expecting. This skull pattern does look like the picture that we see in Mission 5 once we're inside of the cave structure of the Domina or Thronos or whatever the first invasion character was, right before the events of the current campaign. Anything that
Yeah.
you want to talk about here, other than that whoever is playing lost an exo? Listen, I'm not going to call them out that bad, but they did lose
I
an exo.
just pointed the map looks amazing. I like the snow effects. This combined pretty well with good lightnings from the
Yes.
runes that Infernal has. And also you can see above this rune there is something floating in the sky. So it looks like this is new shroud stone
No,
potentially that you can upgrade.
or it's a new
And just
warp-in
guess.
point. Yeah, it adds a lot of visual clarity to what is a structure versus what is the environment. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the little glyph right here, if there was no glyph and no ring, I'd have no idea that this is a building, right?
Yup.
But the fact that it has the glyph and the ring lets you know that it does. I mean, maybe it's a wind-up attack or a signature. Also, there's like little indentations on it that look like the SCP Foundation. These are like attack coded things. I think it looks pretty good. I will say something that's a bit concerning. I know we're like pixel counting as we go through, but I thought this was a flame imp, this thing that was on fire. So maybe it's a fire-based effect of whatever unit Amara and these Vulcans and Exos are fighting. I will say the flame effect looks really sick, by the
The
way.
flame effect from the Vulcan looks like, because if you have Vulcan right now in the core, for example, they
Yes.
apply this fire
Yes.
effect on the units that deal damage over time, and
Okay.
this is what we see right now on the Fiends, because this is like I see two Fiends right now because you
So
can see the back of the Fiend on the fire.
yeah, we're actually just doing like space K to check things. You also see there's actually an impressive death effect that just happened there. I don't know if that's normal. The fiend or an IBAT or something that just like falls to the ground and then crumples over here. So the thing's dying. Like this looks pretty good. I don't have any problems with that. I actually think that the white is pretty good here because it shows the attack command that's moving forward pretty nicely. The map is small. Here, let me get my face out of the way so you can see it. Like the map is a bit smaller, so you can see what we're talking about how this is probably the first mission. It's just such a tiny map, and maybe we'll move my face over this way. There we go. There we go. Thanks, YouTube. I appreciate you. Okay, cool. So I will say before we move on to this next part, I don't know if you can see it. It's probably a lot clearer on the stream. You can actually see, I'm imagining this is the new brute over here that my mouse is hovering over, right? You see a
Yeah,
tail. It's a bipedal thing. It appears to be holding some kind of sword. It's looking away.
and
This
has
has to,
horns.
yeah, it has horns. This has to be the brute, especially since there were fiends in the area. It would just make sense. I mean, I can't even think of, unless it's an NPC and right before a cutscene plays, I don't see what else this could be. You?
Yeah, pay attention to the size of the brute. It's like size of the exo,
Yeah.
kinda like that.
Yeah.
It's more smaller compared to what we have right now. Right now, the brute is twice as size of the exo.
Yes.
This is the 1.1, so it's kind of nice. I like it.
Yeah,
The
he
unit
looks.
is smaller. That means AOE is stronger.
There you go. There you go. It always comes back to how you're right, Aurel? Me too. I was in that video. I remember that. Okay, so something. Listen, I'm gonna give the good and the bad. Okay. First off, I like that we have the 5s here, which kind of indicate that we've got levels to blockade into Riker. We've got a couple of other things here too, which is remember how we didn't have any abilities for Riker and Blockade in their first mission, Ariel? They were just kind of like NPCs with stats, but not really any different than anybody else, right? we actually now have abilities for them. So we can see the healing ability for Blockade, who's selected in the bottom left-hand side, and we can see B, this plus sign that my mouse, I mean, the YouTube bar is kind of hovering over it, but this B indicates that there's like a hero level up. You choose a new ability. I think that's part of what gave a lot of charm to Warcraft 3 was that whatever you were taking on into the next mission, you knew was a consequence of your choice, right? They had some restrictions.
Yeah.
You couldn't just put 3 points in Thorns right away or something like this, right? Or Holy Light, if you want to pick a different example. There were some restrictions, but it felt like it was your hero. So being able to pick hero points is pretty important. And I don't.
If you take a look on the minimap,
yeah, go for
this
it.
is the reworked second mission of where you go as Gravens with the Gravens and you rescue the base.
Yes.
Infiltrate, take control over it. It's exactly the same mission, but there is no Amara.
Yes.
In the mission.
Yes.
And also the goal is primarily similar, just clear Havoc outpost. Yes. But there is no infernal host that's gonna attack you. Like you had the timer.
Also, look at this. You've got
mission.
It looks like, well, in the previous base, you had to take Gravens. I thought it was actually not very new player friendly because you had to take Gravens and try to steal a certain number of buildings, and then you had to defend from attacks on multiple sides after you start a mission with high micro, like above average micro requirement. This one looks like look just to the left of the screen over here in the mini map. You can see my mouse in the bottom section. It looks like there is a base. You can see that there's fortifications in there. So either we build those fortifications, which seems unlikely, or we start the mission with a base that has fortifications, which I think is much more new player friendly, especially since I remember mission 3, taking a lot out of you time wise. Like the best thing to do is to just make an enormous ball of exos and stutter step your way to victory. And it's not very new player friendly or engaging in that sense.
Yeah.
I will say the blue water looks better. I don't know if it was changed or if it's the lighting or what's going on there, but I remember the initial cutscene of the Gravens as they're popping out of the water really looks like they're not coming out of water. They're just coming out of a filter or something. So that looked pretty bad. The angle here is much more forgiving to that. So I think it's much more positive. I do have a couple of things to say here, which is that first off, we have a new Blockade portrait. I actually like this Blockade portrait. It looks more like a human being and not like he got attacked by a Duplo box, converter. So I'm a big fan of that. I will say, I don't know how to do this, but there is something that looks a little odd about the top-down angle of his bald head that kind of sticks out, and because of the contrast of white and blue, makes his head look black. And I don't mean like he has a skin tone. What I mean is it actually looks like the color black, like absence of
like
color.
helmet actually.
Yes,
a bit.
yes, a bit. Yeah, I mean like I'm looking at my Xbox controller black, and I know that that's because of the contrast of the rest of his body. So I hope something gets done with that. I don't know how to do that. Obviously, it looks like he's got like an axe. By the way, look at the way he's holding it. It's like a two-handed weapon in his hands right now. I kind of like that. It gives a different view, a different vibe.
As you can see also on the icons are still the old one, old versions.
Yes.
But you can see also Exo got new model and Riker has new model.
Yes, I'm actually a huge fan of the Exo model, and I'm less a fan of Riker. So let's. Okay, we're gonna find first off death effects still look good. Okay, I think this is an excellent place to stop for a couple of reasons. Okay, so first off, there's no the way the Exos move looks a lot better. It looks a lot better with what people colloquially call instant turn. Right? I'm not going to rehash that argument if you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, that's fine. That's all I'm going to say. I will say that the angle the Exos are firing is great for visual clarity because look at this like standing posture. The gun is forward. We can see that his feet are planted. Is this guy firing? Yes, because the gun's forward. These two are running forward because they've got their in a side motion, right? Like the clarity, I don't know. There's something about these exos that looks like they should be able to stutter step. And you said something about how there was something off about that last time. You want to explain?
Yeah, the animation wasn't like they make the turn rate, they add the turn rate and turn rate to make EXO looks better.
Yes.
Because the old EXO wasn't as appealing to community as they wanted, because
Yes.
EXO using the kite mechanic and the kite micro was kinda, I don't know the word.
Yes.
But it's hard to watch. Like, it's good micro because there was stutter stepping, but this stutter stepping wasn't like Marines and StarCraft, for example.
Correct.
It was
Yeah.
Animation was kinda clunky, and now this new EXO looks much better. We need to see more examples of kite micro examples, but
Yep.
it looks much better. Yeah.
I also like the ping effects you see here of the exos right off of this Lancer and pinging off of the knee of this Lancer right here. Also, the corpse looks really good on the sand. One thing I don't like, however, and I'll just say it out loud, is that Riker looks like he was hit with a 50% image increase to the exo. He looks like an exo, just a little bit bigger and with a unique aura. It's very hard to tell that this is not just an exo hero, right? And if memory serves, Riker was a sniper, and that's how he plays in co-op, right? He doesn't play like an exo. An exo is more like a rifleman. So him having like similar colors, similar language, just being slightly larger, I don't like that much. And in fact, I'll just go out and say I don't like Riker's new in-game model very much at all, but I think we'll get a chance to talk about that later. Anything to add there?
Not really.
Okay.
Everything you said correctly.
Okay, let's take a look. Also, I want to note that this map is absolutely enormous. Unless
I see something new. Sorry for stopping you because I'm gonna forget. When Lancer attack, there is visual effect. The yellow effect on the units that get attacked. You need to take a back in a few frames to see the freelancers. Oh.
Yeah. We're good. We'll do it. Let's see. 20536. Okay.
And pay attention when freelancer gonna attack the one lancer. The first you see the shot from EXO.
There you go. There's a good example right there.
Now you see the swing from Lancer, and go ahead.
Yeah, you can see like the ping effects and the swings. Yeah.
And now this is, you see the blue is coming from the Lancer. Mm-hmm. The yellow effect on the units comes from EXO shoot.
Yes.
When they hit the bullet.
Yes. Also,
right now you don't have that in this Stormgate.
Yes. Something I like too is that people properly noticed that the Obsidian but not style of bringing up logs wasn't doing a very good job. And I think we were talking about this beforehand. You think that this is like a log. I thought this was like GameStar's log into the page, but separate of this star icon, you can actually see this
And now I think about it, this
effect.
is also ability of infantry for the Graven. The same icon. Okay. So I don't really know now.
Okay, so this looks, I like installation missions. I know that's controversial, Rail. A lot of people don't, especially because of the pricing model, right? If we excuse the pricing model out of the question of how much of $10 is or $5 or whatever the price is going to be is going towards an installation micro mission, I actually like installation missions. I like when a mission I like building stuff, building a huge base and then crushing everything. But sometimes you need a palate cleanser. You need something different, right, to wash your mouth. And I think installation missions are fine. What do you think on this? I don't think I've ever asked your thoughts on these kind of micro protector missions.
I like this type of mission, but what I want to point, this is the same lab probably that we have from the cutscene where the first gateway of Stormgate has opened.
Oh, interesting.
And we right now downloading the data core. So we trying to learn data about the Stormgates probably.
Okay.
From the PC. You can see on the minimap we have been a long route to get there.
Yes.
And now we're protecting while
Also,
downloading the data.
Also, it's been 5 minutes 41 seconds in this mission, and Amara clearly has his second ability over here and has the number 1. So this is probably the second mission, right? If I had to imagine.
I think it's still the same mission, I guess.
Oh, okay.
This is the same mission.
Interesting. Oh, it's the facility, right? Because Amara must survive, and she has to get into a facility. That makes sense. This could be mission 1 then.
Like in the current game, you have one mission. The first mission is also this way. Like Amara is here. They go them to the cave or chase the Infernals.
Yes.
So you have the choice, and then the mission ends. This is the same. The one mission.
There's even the rocket
and run away.
There's even the rocket exo, like you were saying from earlier. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
I think this mission you're gonna dolan data and then you have to run away. Something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's also good because it's showing a different tile set. I will say, I think those are the brutes. Okay, we know for a fact. Here's the thing. That explosion right there are the brutes. I've seen this video before. I'm just going to show. Look how big that fire explosion is. That's okay. Listen, I understand you want to show, you want to give visual feedback for things. But if this is a campaign specific effect and we're only playing Vanguard Aurel, I'm fine with having big fire explosions every time that we get the brute. I'm going to tell you right now, if there's big fire explosions that make me think a flame imp has just popped in 1v1, that's not cool, man. That's not cool.
Yeah, the visual effect is cool. Like, it's nice, but it's too big in size. Like, make it like by 2.
Yes.
Smaller.
Yes.
And it will be great.
Yes. Yeah, also, I'm pretty sure that's a gaunt because of the
no, it's fiends.
Oh,
I think it's fiends that spawn.
Okay.
That spawn from the brute that died.
Okay.
Yeah. You see the fiend, and behind that was the brute.
Yes.
And now we see the gaunt.
Now, I have to say, I don't think, I'm not doing something on my computer. One of the things I'm worried about for this is I get the feeling this is supposed to be what the new Shroud is looking like. And if that's the case, making the new Shroud look like this with if this is not Shroud, if this is some campaign effect ground, then I'm fine with it. But if this is
it's not Shroud, I can tell you, because
really, okay, good.
It's not Shroud. Yeah. There is no red effect. When the Shroud ends, you have always this red something on the end to see the difference between no Shroud and Shroud.
Yes.
There is no. So this is ground, and probably the mission effects of weather that make the moon red.
Okay, then my complaints are a little lower. I still don't think it's a great idea to have that red and then have the enemies be red too, because I have monitors that can display things in 1440p, and I've actually can see this in much clearer detail than maybe my stream is showing or rendering right now. But it's not easy, right, to see what's going on there. I will say the glaives from these have to be, I see axes. These have to be the new gaunts, right?
Yes, this is new gaunts, and you can see the red on the weapon. I assume this is when the gaunt has the upgrade.
Yeah, I think
so. Or this is upgraded gaunt. I don't know.
Yeah, I will say I love the fact that there are field effects around the heroes to some extent, because one thing that I will say that the red is doing a great job of is I can see all the units the player has, right? That's a hero, that's a hero. These are not heroes, and these are not heroes. But also, these are combat units, and these are support units because of the selection circles. I don't think anyone else is going to be excited about that, but it's that kind of stuff that helps make the game turn alive, you know what I mean?
And you can see the meta is green for some reason, so maybe the metas are from Blockade.
Yes. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, they could be from Blockade's Ultimate, because the buildings over here are blue for the mech labs, right? But these are green, so that kind of gives away that they're not the same blue as maybe the character or the player. Also, there's 2 items over here, guys. Pick up the items, please. I want to see the items get picked up. I also think overall the fire effect looks a lot better here than it does in current campaign mission 1. Current campaign mission 1, that fire effect, Arail, looks like it's screaming at you. It's a bit loud. So okay. The combat looks good. I will say
you can see another item on the ramp.
Yep.
And also, this is the second mission. So what I assume we're gonna do here is survive until evac come for us.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, that falls in the Blizzard style pretty well, right? For the third mission to be a defensive mission.
Yeah, the similar from the Wings of Liberty, where you get this Xel'Naga artifact.
Yes.
And you need to survive the Swarm Zerg.
Yes. Also, Warcraft 3 has a pretty classic mission to do that. And also, just from a lore writing perspective, Arail, that line that Amara has where she's like, I'm tired of running, and Up a Tree actually in his video said, you have always brain first splatted into every combat ever. You have never run from anything. This might give some more weight to that lore-wise. So I don't know if you care that much about that, but I'm excited.
I hope the Tamara voice line is gonna change.
Yeah, we're gonna see a bit about that actually. We have this is the same mission that we think is possibly mission 2. I want to note actually something that we didn't have before. You see here how it says liberate something plus 50 credits. This implies that there is like a Wings of Liberty borders Heart of the Swarm situation going on where we want to complete the mission, but we get bonus objectives, and then we can spend more of those bonus objectives on upgrades or units or items or levels, or we don't see a good shot of the raptor or of the command post that makes up the main area, but that's something. That's what another thing campaign oriented people have been asking for.
Yeah, and what I think right now, we probably have 2 separate missions. I think there's the blockade and Riker.
Yeah.
This is one mission.
Yes.
And the other one is with Amara.
Yep.
And this is what's happening. We have 2 missions that's going on the same time. This is what probably happens, and then they connect together.
Yeah.
The mission what we see right now is preview of the next mission where we coming to Amara, I think.
That makes sense. I also like, by the way, there's an implication that Amara is not like the queen lead of all of the resistance by virtue of the fact that we see her at level 0 and level 1, and we see Riker and Blockade here, whether it's for show or for tell, they're at level 5. Right, so there's some gameplay implication there that maybe she is more junior, either in the organization or is newer to her position or something like that, which I think, again, takes away some of my criticisms of the campaign. Not too much to say. Also, we will call out, I know it's for the cinematic to get the right view for the visual, but this person is floating 2,600 minerals. I'm just going to call them out right now. They have 73 supply and are floating 2,645 luminite. Listen, I know that's not the point of this video, but we gotta have some fun. We gotta have some jokes.
Poor Dev Cenok.
Poor devs, yes.
I mean, you can see his nickname in the top left.
Oh no, it's even worse. We actually have a P build with a name for the person doing it. Oh no. But obviously this is for cinematic purposes. I also will say that Riker looks like he has gotten the co-op treatment, right, applied to his hero, much the same way we saw some of the abilities for Blockade look like they mirrored what we saw in co-op. Right?
Yep.
So I don't know if it's going to match exactly because obviously Blockade is prioritized in this list, but it does look like look at that. He's got his 2 pals right there. Okay, this mission, I'm excited. Okay, this has got to be. Do you think we're seeing any of missions 4, 5, and 6, like the ones that have previously been paid for? Do you think that's likely?
Yep, I think so. This is the mission where we probably get
This should be what Mission 3 is, right? Where Major Galton says, "Oh, we beat Major Galton, then we have to run away," as he runs away, and we just get a cutscene that's like, "Oh, we're leaving," and it's like, I never felt like we had to leave. Like I had the entire map. Like I'm pretty sure I could have killed all the infernal units in that cutscene, but if you see
and
here,
you can see Amara is alone. There is no blockade. No,
she's level
Riker.
2. She's level 2, so this is an implication that this is either mission 2 or mission 3, right? And it could be like you're saying, playing the other side of it. I also will note that it looks like there's 4 spawning waves, and she has to protect 2 locations. There's like a base to the south, but there's also this path up to the north where she has this protect this giant convoy. I'm gonna say it right now, Aurel, if no one else has said it, I fucking love this giant convoy thing. This thing is sick. This thing, okay, listen. This is not don't misunderstand this, right? Anyone who hears this, but I actually think if you're looking for things that like this inspires more confidence than what we saw for StarCraft 2, because frankly that's what the comparison is. That's what everyone's thinking about. That's the point that's being made, right? That's the marketing as well. I actually think that Doctor mission in Wings of Liberty where you have to protect the convoy. I think that convoy looks like shit compared to this. This looks awesome.
This one is
this
better.
Looks cool
it's
as
like
shit.
Siege tank.
Yeah, it's awesome, dude. Like if you tell me this is gonna blast a hole in something but can't deal with little fiends attacking it, yeah, I 100% believe that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks sick.
Also, what we can point, these guns don't have red effect on the weapon.
Yes. I mean, it's hard to see a little bit, but you can see it more clearly on the stream over here
there
on the left-hand side.
There is no effect. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
This tells us that the red effect is an upgrade.
Yes.
For Gaunt.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's nice because you can see that enemy has the upgrade. Right now, it's like you need to click on the unit, or you see that your
it's the problem
unit clarity.
It's the problem of +1 and +2 for armor and attack and things, where you just have to tell even intermediate players, oh, well, you saw their units. Did you click them to see what their upgrades are? And it's like, why do I have to click them to see what their upgrades are? It does look like that kind of logic is being applied here, at least to the Gaunts. Like the red throwing axe Gaunts clearly have more going on to them than these. Also, these look more cursed. Frankly, as the overall impression I have of the Infernal redesign is that everything looks more like classical hell bait, right? And you can like or dislike Diablo 3, Diablo 4, Path of Exile 1 and 2. That's what people think when they're thinking hell, right? Unless they've been reading a lot of interesting books. So them looking more like stretched skin monsters, I'm a big fan of personally. I think it's
I love New Gaunt.
Yes. Also,
by the way, the map is amazing. Like it's post-apocalyptic, and you see it's post-apocalyptic.
Yes.
Like you see, you feel the vibe.
Yeah, look at this.
Destroyed.
Look at this distro center, which doesn't have anything going to it. It has a bunch of like packed up things over there. You have like wires and tendrils, a staircase that just shattered in half from what's probably a bridge. Like,
and you can see the mini map.
Yeah, absolutely.
And compared to what we have right now, the I don't know, creep counts has bases. Like, don't feel the vibe of Infernal, but here you see the force where they spawn. You see, this was the invasion that humans lost.
Yes. Also, I think this map is showing more character than Ruination is currently showing in 1v1. Right.
Yeah.
That's true. I think this is doing a lot of that mission that you have where you go in and you first encounter, I think it's mission 1, mission 2, where you first encounter the piece of Thronos, right? That just has like Nier Automata looking sanded out apartment buildings that's supposed to be vaguely apocalyptic feeling, but all it feels like is everyone left because of COVID early. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's not, it doesn't give the vibe. This, on the other hand, very good vibe. The red sand is also good. I like the danger ominousness on the sides here. Also, notice Amara has 2 items.
Yep. And probably one is the healing one, the first one.
Yes.
The second one is some kind of boost.
I do hope that the items were visually changed, because one of the things we can't see in this, but I would like to see, are the tooltips. The tooltips I thought were really bad for the items, and also the items themselves. They just didn't have like charm or sparkle or spice to them. It was like, it's a torn bandage. Sound like, okay, that's great
Yeah.
and all. Like, where can I get like post-apocalyptic super medicine shot that heals me instantly? So I'm liking what I'm seeing here. Is a TLDR? I like what I'm seeing here. Also, I will note that if this is the explosion effect, this explosion is way too big. I also, listen, just watch this EXO right here. Everyone on stream, everyone on YouTube land, just watch this EXO right here, and I'll let you be the judge as to how quickly he's turning. Enough said. Anyways, moving on to the next part.
Instant.
Yeah, okay, this is sick, because this is something I also thought that Stormgate couldn't really do properly. So we have maps array like Isle of Dread, and we have maps like Titan's Causeway, and I'm not feeling that the Infernals look wrong on those maps. You know what I mean? There's like it feels like they're part of, it's like a world, and then these units don't exist at the same time. But look at the lighting and the effects over here on what I'm assuming is this brute. Like, this thing looks like it should not be here, but that it's somehow still part of the world building. I love the trees, right? I love the grass effects and complementariness to it. Look at this like satyr raider looking unit over here, right?
It's count, yeah.
Yeah, as it's attacking. That looks sick. Look at that. That's awesome. That looks cool. Who hates that?
Good timing with it.
Oh, 1 second. Oh, we have to lower my internet speed. I'm sorry, guys. It looks better than I'm showing right now, because we're just making sure it works. Okay, so the visual effects are good. We have collapsible terrain, Arail. It's
and
20,
also
20.
this effect on the scout.
Also, by the way, this yes, we do have a sound effects on the scout. I will say this collapsible terrain inspires more confidence than what we had been seeing, but even in 2010, I was not a fan of collapsible rocks as some revolutionary gameplay mechanic. So I guess, guys, okay, like, you want collapsible rocks, I got it. You got it. Okay. But we have them, they're here now. Yeah. Also, Port 2000. Yeah, everything looks good here. This is the same kind of like survival mission structure I like. There was a Warcraft 3, like anyone who's ever played Bunker Wars or something like that will understand the setup that we've got here, where there's 4 corner bases that are attacking the center, and we have to control. It looks like we have to decide who wins or stop their attack paths in some way, right? Anyone who played the Frozen Throne will know that mission where the ghosts are just fighting each other endlessly and you have to stop them. This looks like that. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, and we're losing because you can see on the middle.
Yeah.
Something is going up there.
Amara's in the center by herself. It's not looking good, guys. It's not.
Yeah, the mission is protect Amara, safeguard Amara, because she's doing something with the artifact. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm getting very protect the Chrysalis or protect Kerrigan from Heart of the Swarm kind of vibes. Hopefully not implemented that way, but that kind of mission structure. Yeah. That's good, because people want that variety, Rail. I've heard from the people who do like campaign a lot. As much as I like build a huge amount of stuff and crash it, they don't like that. They want variety. They want like, oh, this mission, I get this unit, and it's really good at this thing, and the mission is built around having reapers and getting resources off of a cliff or something like that. That seems to be what they like. So,
and you can see Riker has level 2.
Yes.
And he got level 5. So I can assume they probably reset the level every mission.
Possibly. I mean, it would make sense because their veterancy also resets. But here's the thing. I hope, right, that the level system that they're putting in here is indicative of a desire for them to either put in-game scaling levels in co-op, or to do it inside of 1v1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're going to go through that effort, it seems weird to do that just to reset every campaign mission. But it doesn't seem weird to do that if you're trying to figure out how that works in potentially 1v1, potentially 3v3, potentially co-op, like these kinds of things, you know.
And I think it's good because if you had level 5 all heroes at the start, the mission will be too easy to do.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I like hero levels more than I like veterancy. I'll just come out and tell you, like, as a big time Vanguard player, I'm sorry, I'm not a big fan of veterancy. But I think hero levels are perfectly fine. So, all right. Okay. So this is, people kind of hinted at this. We got some cues in the AMA that we would be on board, some kind of like mission structure for the Raptor, the ship that drops you off, right? So here we are. I'm almost positive that's what it
Good
is.
timing, Lieutenant Star.
Yeah, it's evac, probably the big one we saw in the mission 1.
Yeah, so one thing I will say is, let's just listen to Riker's voice again. I don't like the new Riker device. I'll just say right now, Riker looks like he just fell out of a California millennials only barbershop. I wonder where he gets the moose necessary to actually look
I will
like this.
spoiler you and correct you. The Riker voice in the cinematic that Frost Giant post,
Yes.
2 hours after that,
Yes.
has new voice lines for the Riker.
Okay. Fair enough.
Glad you're up.
I will say I like this approach. I liked, there's a game called Everspace 2. I don't know if you ever played a rail, but it has this kind of approach as well, where there is character standing on one side. It has a very like light novel feel where there's a character standing to one side and then who the character is and then what they're saying over the center. I don't have any problems with this. I heard some wild takes that this is bad or lazy or something like that. I don't know, maybe I just like light novels and I like things like this. I like visual novels. What do you think? Any problems with this kind of setup?
What is your take on this?
Like this look?
You know,
Okay.
I played StarCraft and I would like to have the cinematic like the StarCraft interaction because this is like cockpit on the Hyperion battlecruiser.
Yes.
It's the same, like you interact with the NPCs, Taihus, and many others on the ship. It's something similar.
Yes.
But there is no, animation. It's just voice line.
Yeah.
I mean, it's much cheaper to do it than just making
the whole 3D modeling and rigging and animation and everything. Right.
Could
Obviously.
cost a lot.
Yes. I will say one of the reasons I brought up
I can accept that. Like,
yeah,
I can accept this.
One of the reasons I brought up Everspace 2 is that Everspace 2 shows standing images, and then when a character has a reaction or there's a change in pose, they change to a different still. So it gives you that sense of motion without being as expensive. But yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
Whole Arculus thing.
Okay, so this right here, where there is a character standing between what looks to be two items, this is almost certainly, like you're saying, like a... also, look at this, like, this has got to be the Vulcan, right? Or something like it. Some kind of like, is this the Arculus? This like Ava, this, you know what it looks like? It looks like a Kree, actually. It looks like either a Kree or a Scyther, something like that, like standing up. The bipedal nature, but the crouched forward, like almost thorax thing in the back.
Yeah, and this is Vulcan from the cinematic that we saw a long time ago.
Yes.
Where we see the first Celestials approach.
I see.
The shield one, and demons show up.
Yeah, right. And hell's coming with it, and he flies up to the hole at the end. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
this is the big Vulcan on the right side to the Amara. I assume there is second Vulcan, the smaller version.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
I will. What I'm getting the impression of, because we've just been conditioned to accept this in sci-fi. Anytime there's like a blue outline or something like this is a choose. This is a schematics, right? This reminds me a lot of like the evolution missions in StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm, right? And I'm not opposed to that. That works.
I mean, evolution and the Wings of Liberty, where you talk with a swan.
Yes.
Similar.
Yes, much the same way. Also, this implies that the interior of that ship is a lot bigger, right? Because these don't look like they were... Yeah, so that looks interesting. Also, I don't know who this older figure is. I have some estimations, but just pure guessing. So that looks pretty cool.
While I was in that beam, something communicated with me.
I will say, by the way, the fact that Amara's voice doesn't sound like I instantly want to punch her the next time I see her at a rally, it does make it a lot more acceptable, right? The fact that I don't want to find her in a mosh pit and accidentally throw hands in her direction anymore, because the last campaign I just wanted Amara to die at the end of the campaign.
True.
I've never hated, because I've played as the Overmind. I've played as like a xenophobic like Protoss before, right? I've played as the Bug Swarm. I've played as cannibalistic pigs. Like, I've never actually, I haven't wanted those people to win story-wise sometimes. But I still enjoyed playing them. I actually wanted Amara to die. And this Amara actually sounds like a somewhat likable person you could talk to.
Yeah, the old Amara was narcissistic.
Yes.
Narcissistic, like a man, was arrogant, was really, really like the person that you can't like.
Yes.
And should never be a leader.
Yes. Which is kind of important because she's leading the rest of humanity, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of important. Oh, we have to go back a second because I actually missed something here, which is this has to be the new hedgehog. First off, this look also conveys a lot more character. And I'm not talking about the fact that her face
squad
isn't...
leader.
Well, this also has like relaxed confidence, the way that she's like pushed forward. She's got one eye calculating, but one eye open. There's like a half smile. Like, okay.
The voice is chill. She's not screaming.
Yeah, exactly. And she's not yelling, which is also the way that everyone who's never led anyone thinks you lead people, is by yelling and saying, I'm in charge of you. Like, the people who have to do that aren't leaders, sorry. They just have a position. So, I like this a lot more. Also, there's some intrigue as to what that beam is or what it means. I suspect that that'll be a cutscene that we're not seeing here, or it'll be conveyed to us in other voice chat that we're not seeing yet.
And what we see is Hedgehog here.
Yes.
We see Medtech, we see Blockade again.
Yep.
Lancers. There are dead imps, but sadly they killed them all.
Yes. I'm not a big fan of... I made the joke that the old hedgehog looked like a Swinub with legs, like Swinub, the Pokemon, right? But that said, I don't really get the fuss over the hedgehog. Like, I know someone said it looks like a bicycle helmet or a soup can. If people want that changed and they like it, okay. The biggest thing I want changed for the hedgehog is for you to actually be able to use your controls to make it so it doesn't decelerate all the way before firing. You know, like have some like vulture patrol micro capabilities to it. That would be sick.
I like new hedgehog visually, but look at the Exo. Exo is the human.
Yeah, I'll make it easier for everyone at home.
Small.
Right? There's this, and then there's this. Right?
Exo has to be smaller, or hedgehog has to be bigger to sell the fantasy of human being inside that.
Yes. And I know people will say, well, actually, we didn't have to do that in Brood War. It's like, yeah, because actually the Vulture is sized to do that. The reason the SCV is as big as it is not that it's a person. It's a person in an alien-style power suit, right? Whose mind...
And Marines also is human inside gigantic suit.
Yes.
That is twice as big as him.
They have like a Warhammer 40k vibe, right? Where it's like the average person who's a Marine, first off, is a convict in StarCraft 2, or it starts as one. That's how they initially started out. And then they get put in like 4 feet of power armor or something like that. You know, that's why they look the way they do.
Oh, and I'm pretty sure the visual effect of the structure gonna change soon.
Yep.
Of Infernal. So this is old.
Yep.
Vault Shrine. Meat Farm also.
Also, speaking
and this is Malok.
By the way, Malok looks fucking sick. Malok looks dope. The old Malok, I've said it before, Aurel, he looks like Jafar from the Aladdin movie, right? Like, he just had gotten too deep into the magic. His skin was red now. He went to the gym and he lost his legs. Like, that was what old Malok looks like. This dude looks like a crypt fiend. like some kind of boss. Like, look, he's in an arena by himself. Everything is torn up and lit up around him. He's like warped everything around him. He's calling down some huge pyroclasm. He's got a hit point bar that beggars belief. He's got more shroud. He's got more veil, more white health, like, than you could ever imagine. This actually looks like a leader of the Infernal faction. Old Malik looked like, if you gave him one too many drinks, you could beat him in a fist fight.
I just want to say all units what we saw so far don't have white health.
Interesting. Okay, so he's got like extra. You are right. In fact, that's one of the reasons I was thinking you were correct about that red ground wasn't Veil or wasn't Shroud, because I didn't see any units with Shroud, or with Veil. But you're correct. We haven't seen any of them with it yet.
And now we see the Malok, but I don't think this is white health. I think this is about the mechanic he does.
Oh, it could be like a charge up because he's firing some kind of pyroclasm or fire tornado or something.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
to this thing. This is also the same mission, by the way, where we had 4 blocks and we had to protect something in the center, some kind of convoy or mission or thing. So you not directly engaging with Malik, but him messing up whatever you're doing across the map, I think it's just better to convey the idea.
Yeah.
It's just really.
And Riker also pointing that you can just slow down Malok. You can't beat him.
Yes.
So we can't kill the Malok. You can only slow down and rescue the convoy.
Also, presumably Riker is correct here, which is at least one more time than the 0 times Riker was proven to be correct inside of the base campaign, where Riker's whole persona is just to be wrong about everything. But actually not. But like the story wants him to be wrong about everything. Riker actually being the voice of reason here is nice.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, this is the same mission. We're just like pushing with the area. There's like a convoy here. I get the sense that we can't control this convoy. Maybe it's a lot like Tychus in the Odin, right? In Wings of Liberty. Okay.
Now we see Shroud. We see
This is sick,
Roots.
by the way. This is sick. Like, look at this.
You can see also tentacles.
Yes.
Up.
Yeah, I mean, you can pick around, right? Like look, you've got the images we talked about before. Here we go for a conclave. We've got a normal shroud stone.
Conclave and shroud stone and mid farm don't fit this new infernal, but this is because they're gonna change.
Yeah, look at the glyphs that are on the ground over here, right? And the glyphs of this thing is either being destroyed or summoned, like the letters themselves are being torn apart. This graphic right here for what is this? A shadow cleft? Maybe. I have no idea what that actually is. It might just be a piece of the terrain. But yeah.
Terrain, I think, yeah. Brute new, the Gaunt.
The Shroud looks better. The Shroud actually looks like Shroud as opposed to not Creep. I'll just say the quiet part out loud, Aurel. Current Shroud looks like not Creep. This actually looks like a fog, a mist, some kind of like connection to a different world or a wrongness or something. This looks pretty sick. Okay. This is beautiful, by the way. I have some vision challenges, so being able to see the Therium is really nice.
Here's what I'm gonna point. This is yellow Infernal.
Yes.
And yellow Infernal has a yellow effect on the weapon.
Oh,
look
it
at
does.
the guns.
And look at the destruction ability. The destruction effect on this right here.
You're
absolutely correct.
It's not destruction. It's not destruction. This is producing
it's materializing.
Unit. Exactly.
See. Yeah. No, you're correct. And if you look over here, I see what you're saying. It's got like yellow over here. So we've got better team colors. Also, this doesn't show the map. So you have some reason to believe that this is maybe a test that won't be in the actual campaign. Maybe this is for pure visual effects. Like maybe this is a second team or a surprise or something. But I mean, we see hedgehogs, we see medtechs, you see heroes. Like, yeah, I get with this. We're going to start running out of things to talk about, Aurel, because we've talked about so many of the nitpicky things. Now we just have to react to things we see on their surface. Oh, we see Blockade do a giant jump and stun. Okay. This is It's like a warping in building. Like maybe this is Celestial. This could be like in co-op. They were the Eon gates or the pseudo void. I think they're called void gates. I forget what they're called. I might be missing my game
void
stuff.
gates.
There's something that's
This looks
warping
like
in, right?
Celestial Cabal because you can see the ring.
Yes.
This is similar to the Cabal what we have.
Also, it's purple.
So
and
probably Celestial.
Yes.
Celestial stuff.
Well, also we see obliterate the automatons 1 of 3. If we take a look at the map, there is a marker right here and a marker over here to the side, right?
Automatons, I think, is the name of celestial mechanical unit that has hive mind.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that would make sense. This is also good because this implies that there's going to be some way for people to learn about the Celestials beyond just opening up a Ubisoft style game log and reading it in their off time. So I'm a big fan of that. Yeah.
Small brute, yeah.
Also, the purple looks good. The purple looks as alien to the natural environment here as the Infernals did in the earlier picture.
Yep.
Oh, look, it even has the particulate so that you can clearly delineate how large it will be when it spawns in. Okay.
Yeah.
This is actually very good. This is very good lighting, actually.
Yeah, we see floating cube.
Yes. Yes. And a pyramid over here, right?
Yeah.
There also seems to be some dog-faced thing facing out, whatever that could possibly be. Like it's got like some vaguely jackal-like look to it.
And look at minimap. This mission is different to what we saw so far.
Yes.
We're based in top right. We're trying to
the last
destroy the monolith.
Yes.
And you have look. It's construct a barracks.
Yes.
This type of quests are usually in the first missions.
Yes, so this could be what you were saying about how Blockade and Riker are taking on the more complex task, because if you notice, their base spawned in the upper left-hand side of a very similar beach-style tile set, and they were moving down into the right. Amara, in the meantime, is now level 2 as opposed to the level 5 they were, and is going down into the left. Right, and we can see, like you said, construct a barracks feels like a very mission 1, mission 2 kind of thing to ask people to do, right? Like getting into the RTS side of it. And yeah, I'm really liking this. I'm also liking that I don't care if they're assets, people. I love that we have big giant check marks with a big cross through line that says complete in giant green letters to let me know I actually accomplished something. Right?
Yeah, you can see also the items.
Shit. Yes. Yeah. Oh, a lot of items, in fact.
And there is item that allow you to build racks, but our developer King Tong.
Yes.
You can see top left.
Yeah, Kevin. Right. Yeah, it's Kevin
didn't
Dong,
use the item that spawn barrack. The third item is the spawn barrack.
Yes, and you can see it right here. Also, Amara seems to be under the effect of this second item that has like a saucepan for a hat. I don't know what it actually looks like.
That was, I think, in the campaign is 50% more energy regen.
Yes.
I assume.
Yes, I want you to notice that we actually have selection, like on Amara, it shows these various effects that she is under, right? As kind of a... You know how in other games you can click your unit and see what auras it's affected by? We get to see that now, right?
Yeah.
So that's good. Also, whoever's doing this just got a new hero point, right? So I really like the way that this looks. I think a lot of this is an improvement. Maybe the pyramid looks a bit odd, but oh, sick! Well, no! You can't lie to me like that. Give me a second. Okay, here. So this is that beach mission with Galt, right? Or what was Galt in the past. I want to note that we have like a dog inside of a sensor tower over here, but we have a pretty similar setup to go attack the major base to the right. Those are the hedgehogs, by the way. If you didn't get a clear visual of them earlier, this is them facing in a pretty isometric friendly direction, right?
I'm like the new hedgehog visual.
Yeah.
It fits the rocket's launcher. I just want to see the siege mode of the
Yes.
Hedgehog, how it looks, but the normal mode
Yes.
of Hedgehog looks nice.
It looks like the priority for the new Hedgehog rework Arail was making it look like it fits with the Vulcan, because if you notice that little see-through canister area in the front
It's the same
is the
like on
same as
Vulcan,
what's in the
yeah.
Vulcan. So we've got this kind of like mech units share mech language. But even at a glance, I don't think this is a problem we can have sometimes with the current Hedgehog. I don't think this Hedgehog is a Lancer. And I don't think this Lancer is an Exo. And I don't think any of this is this Vulcan right here.
Visibility of units in the army is for sure improved.
Yes.
Compared to what we have right now. It's like if you show the game of pros to random person, he's
Yes.
not gonna say, "Oh, this is Exo, this is Lancer, this is Medtech." No, this unit looks the same. They are in the same size. Now Exo is a bit smaller than Lancer, so you can see the difference between Lancer and Exo.
Yes.
Same with Medtech. Medtech is bigger than Exo and
al-
similar size to Lancer. Bigger than Lancer.
I'm also going to give kudos to the team here, because look at the enemy color pick that they picked. Like, they could have picked red Arail for the enemy team color on this map, right? Because blue versus red is pretty classic. But instead, they picked this sandy orange color, which matches to the like sandy beach tile set that you're playing on.
Yeah,
right?
I
So
assumed
it's really
this
smooth.
they selected because there is many enemies, because in the Brood War, usually they do that when there is multiple enemies. So you have orange Zerg, red Zerg, pink Zerg.
Purple, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. No, I'm tracking. By the way, favorite Zerg color. Go on. What you got? What do you like?
White.
Ooh, you must like the way the white Hydralisks look. They do look pretty good, I can't lie.
Ew.
Okay, so this,
and we see the monolith that we had to destroy in previous showcase.
Yep, it also looks like it's important, by the way, which is pretty good. I know that's a minor thing, but any improvements and improvements. Also, look at the floor set that we have here, Arail. Do you see this? This is kind of nice. I love
the infernal floor.
Yeah, I love the, how to say it. That might be what was always under. Yeah, it might always be what was under Shroud, but it's hard to say because I couldn't see under the Shroud. I couldn't just lift the Shroud to find out. And generally, I like this because there's more like a bubbly roundness to Vanguard units and a triangular sharpness to Celestial units. So if they are telling a story about how Celestial and Infernal have been interacting with each other across the eons to fight for Animus across the various worlds, sharing some of that motif, right, in this floor set is pretty sick. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's also,
and you can see under this monolith.
Yes. Yeah.
Under this monolith, you have this space, like this is floating in the air. This is first of all. It looks like it's coming from the different dimension,
Or it's not native here. It's like warping the space somehow, which is something that I think is really captured in Infernal buildings when they're constructing, but has not historically been captured by Infernal items once they're here.
And I assume this structure gonna be the upgrade structure.
Yep.
Right now we see Gauns, we see Fiends, we see few Brutus. This is the mission we're defending in the middle.
Yep, with Amara
defending
in the center
Amara,
somehow.
yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Amara is probably with this, the blade in the middle. And
probably.
She's trying to take back control.
Yeah, it's kind of like the final Undead mission where you get used to having Kel'Thuzad the Lich and Kel'Thuzad the Lich and Arthas the Death Knight, and then Kel'Thuzad just drops all of his items and you have to defend him for a while. It's pretty common.
Heart of the Swarm, where you are on Zerus and you're protecting Kerrigan from when she becoming the Primal Zerg.
Yes, I mean, to a lesser extent, this is also what you're doing in All-In at the end of the Wings of Liberty campaign. It's just that there's not the hero. You're not losing access to the hero, but you never really had a hero in that same way in that campaign. So, yeah.
Yeah, I like the mission. I like how the Fiend looks like. They actually made them really fun.
Yes.
Like your correct Fiend is too wide, too big. This one fits the team. The units are much smaller, so for sure they're gonna be more enjoyable to control.
Yes.
And the
yes.
problem with the Infernal Army is that the units are too big, they are clunky. Compared to Vanguard that has small units in bio.
Yes.
That's why bio is feeling great to micro.
Yes.
And now you have Gun that is smaller, Brute is smaller, Fiend is smaller.
Which might make AoE better. Hey!
And what I gonna point, there was a bigger Brute and bigger Gaunt in previous screens, but we're gonna move to this when we gonna see the gameplay.
Okay, I think there's like a promotion mechanic or something like that. Okay.
Okay, now we're gonna
campaign coming soon.
And translate.
And translate? No, we're not. We'll do that later. I'll prove. I already proved to you I can do that. We'll do that later, right?
And this is the guy who was testing campaign.
Okay.
Close to the
Sanok?
Yeah.
Sanok? Okay. So I will
and
note.
He explore about the experience he has.
Yep, here is Amara level 1 with a bunch of units. One things I hope is really fixed for Amara is that right now, Amara feels like a unit you want to be an assassin with, jump in, jump out. Biggest problem I have with Amara right now, Aurel, is, pretty simply
Voice lines?
Oh, no, it's not even that. It's that gameplay-wise, the biggest problem I have with Amara is this, right? Amara has to bring her guns all the way up, start firing, see the projectile leave her bullets, see the projectile hit the enemy, and then they hit the enemy. Whereas Exos are just toot, 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 toot. You just hit, leave, hit, leave, hit, leave. So you actually end up in this awkward spot where in order for Amara's control to feel good with any other ranged unit, you actually have to make all of the other ranged units feel bad in comparison. So I would like to see if Amara's attack point is improved as well. I don't care if it's unfair and if they have to nerf Amara. Frankly, all the co-op players would be thrilled to have Amara nerfed. And Riker as well.
And you can see this is the mission, the same mission where you have destroy Monolith. You can see on the minimap.
Yes.
I know the Stormgate name is there, but
yes,
you have the same exploration comes through Barak.
Yes. Also, these brutes look sick. They look like something I would actually run from. The current brutes look, again, since they're changing them, we can now just openly say, the current brutes look like they fell out of the Burning Legion at some point. Right?
Yeah.
They just had how to say, they look like a pit fiend, like a pit lord had a good time with a Kodo beast, and somehow this is their child, Yeah,
and you can see on the ground the dead brutes. I mean, maybe no brutes, but dev guns leaving the rings.
Yes.
There, the body is there. Right now, you have just skeleton when some unit dies, but right now you have the effect of dead unit.
Yes.
On the ground. That is really nice for streaming, playing campaign or casting games.
It's also very good. It's also a very good effect. Well, one, you can go back to it to show where it happened, but also you have this very good effect now for the editor, because anytime you keep track of dead bodies like this in the editor, you're going to be keeping track also in other editors I've used. You then have the ability to keep track of what was that unit. Can I revive that unit? What's the location of that unit? All of this speaks to good things we may get in the future.
Yep.
That explosion is insane. I don't like it. In case anyone hasn't heard me say it before, I do not like that explosion. It's way too big. Every time I see it, I keep thinking an inflamed imp actually blew something up.
I'm like it, but the visual. I mean, I like the visual effect. And by the way, the thunderstorm is great.
Really?
Look at this effect.
Okay.
And what I like about the brute is the visual effect is nice, but it's too big. Make it smaller and gonna be perfect.
Yep. I actually don't like the thunderstorm because it just obscures my vision. So I hope that this doesn't get brought into 1v1 or co-op or something where there is like a gameplay rush to win, or something like that.
I think they can add this for casters.
Okay.
They can add that for the casters, but the usual players don't see that.
Sure. I sound like one of those haters.
Possible.
I sound like one of those haters who doesn't want to see anything cool if it means I can have 2% more visibility. But that is actually my opinion. Like, I understand when you're showing this off, you want to show it off in max graphics with everything loaded in, right? So yeah, it
Yeah.
is a cool effect. It would
The player
bother
is
me
gonna
in
play on the
gameplay.
lowest settings anyway. So
Well, also that effect would bother me in gameplay,
die richtige
right?
Kampagne sein soll. Was man bisher spielen konnte, das waren 6 Missionen. Es soll nur eine
and
Yeah.
now we see Brute.
Okay, this one, you're right. This one does look like he's got like an extra tail or something. He's got like a bigger wind up. He's taller. His horns are larger. Like, but he doesn't seem to have an indication that he's a hero. So I wonder if basically they got the equivalent of Vanguard promotion. Like, do Infernal units now promote? I saw people in Reddit speculating that. I don't know where they got that speculation from, but I saw a couple of names talking about it.
kommt quasi die richtige Kampagne.
And you see that, I mean, you see in the indicator by this Brute, you can go back by 5 seconds.
Yeah.
The Brute was red circle under him.
Yes. Yeah. I do wonder, I do hope, gameplay wise, I would be a bit disappointed if Vanguard loses the coolness of their promotion and it just gets given to everyone in some form or fashion. I would rather just have units that can level up and then a bunch of units that are just what they are. But
I guess this is evolution. Like you can make small Brute into big one if you spend animus resources. I guess.
Cool.
And that would be cool. Like you can evolve Magmadons into bigger Magmadons. That's why every single unit for this Infernal is smaller now, because you can make them bigger and you see the impact on the battlefield. And also we saw the Brute, the bigger Brute has charge, and that's charge stun.
Yes.
And it's working like the Vulcan charger right now.
Well, that's really good, because one of the things I don't think has ever worked for Infernal, and has been to their detriment because it's either made them overpowered or incapable of playing, is that they are bulky and slow, but there's a lot of them. And the problem with that is, if you ever have a meta game where something is just slightly too slow, then Infernals don't get to play either. Like, does anyone think that the Weaver has Lash because that's the best idea that anyone could come up with? No, the Weaver has Lash because there's so many units, they're so much faster, that against a strong enough player, a Vanguard player especially, would be able, because their units are pretty responsive, would be able to kite an Infernal army for all eternity. So Lash exists so that you can grab in spellcasters like the Animancer and the Cabal. You can grab in things like a Vulcan, right? You can stop them from just walking away because Infernals are too slow. If this helps fix their speed problem and makes them more, you could say boring, I would say in line with the speed of other factions by having possibly the ability to give this to various units, then I'm a fan.
Yeah. You see tentacles on the screen as well. We're going back to this mission. Here is the first tower. You watch out 6 while we're hacking. So, what we know about this, Blockade and Riker in this mission are inside this resistance convoy, I guess.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I'm tracking because you
and
don't
they
see them
hacking
elsewhere.
from inside. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. This is also that same mission that we saw before. This is, I think, even the same clip that we saw before, just with extra communication and a couple of more voice lines. Again, I think that Blockade looks a lot better here than he did in his old version. His old version looked like he got married to a Duplo. You know, like.
And we see Shadow Flyers that, like in the Legacy of the Void first mission, flying around, running from the Phoenixes. You have the same here. They're looking for the target. You see new worker model, Servo.
Yes.
Building sentry post.
Yes.
And you're gonna see the gameplay of lovely Micro with the Exo.
Also, the neutral application right here on what we just paused, these yellow circles here, indicate that these are neutral units that probably go with the convoy, right? So that you don't have to have everything to start. In fact, that's a good way to build this, because when I was teaching someone StarCraft 2, they had a problem on that convoy mission in Wings of Liberty, because I had to express that if you don't do this, there will be nothing defending it. And they're like, nothing? And they're like, yeah. And they were playing on casual,
there was 2 Marines, but 2 Marines died to everything.
Yeah,
in the convoy in the Wings of Liberty.
Right, whereas this is a Lancer, an Exo, a Medtech, and there's probably a gun or something. No, there's another unit back here as well. So like 2
Yeah.
Lancers, a Medtech, and an Exo is actually respectable against small numbers of Infernal, even without Micro. So, yeah,
Die Fraktionen
let's
tatsächlich
see.
komplett überarbeitet werden. Die Einheiten
We see
nochmal
again now. You see the Gaunt don't have visual effect on the ring.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
see the
Look,
Brute
they're-
is smaller, Gaunt
They're
is smaller.
gray. Yeah, they're gray. They're here. There's IBATs are over here, or Shadow Flyers. No color, like you're saying. Yep.
Das ist
And I like you can see the units dying faster. This is for sure
They're
what's
moving
happening right
faster
now.
too. I saw a post. I won't say from whom in case it wasn't supposed to get more dissemination. It's like
that was on the general chat.
okay,
the
cool. So
Geralt
it was
said
15.
on the
It
chat,
was like
yeah.
15 to 25% increase in movement speed. And I remember seeing some
On
feedback threads that
everything.
said, "Oh well," or 20 to 25, and it was like, "Oh well, what is improved about this game by making it faster? Everything. I'm gonna tell you right now, everything gets better.
Units gonna feel much better to control.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Yes. Now, I will tell you there is
And-
one thing I'm worried about, Arail, and I do think that this is not trying to play defense. I really think this. I do feel bad for the people who are going to be playing campaign or maybe low levels of co-op who are new to RTS and want to play at a slower movement speed because that's what they're used to or that's what they're capable of doing, right? So some kind of movement speed selection, definitely for campaign. Maybe co-op, never for 1v1, would be appreciated.
There was in the Wings of Liberty, I remember.
Yes,
There was a
yes.
selection of the speed. And still is in the game.
Yes, and I
For
think that's
campaign.
important so that people can onboard at their own speed because unless you play 1v1 a lot, you don't know or understand that fastest in StarCraft 2 just is the game mode for a gameplay in 1v1, right? But
Yeah.
campaign isn't for 1v1 players primarily. It's primarily for surprise, people who want to play campaign. So if campaign players feel pressured by the extra movement speed and thus the restrictions on their movement speed or the restrictions on their ability to react and use APM, then absolutely give them some means to control it. Here's another way you could do it. You have casual, normal, hard, brutal. So make the movement speed normal, fast, faster, fastest, right?
Yep.
Change the movement speed to be one of the things that are affected, and that way you can say, oh, you want to learn how. If I don't believe in this idea that campaign players transition into 1v1, but if you do believe that idea, right, if you really want to push for that idea, then the answer is pretty simple. Just make the movement speed aligned to what the campaign difficulty is, and then tell people, oh, well, once you beat the whole campaign on brutal, then you'll be ready to start getting into 1v1 because you'll be used to the movement speed and the time to kill of all of these units, right? Overall, my selfish world of 1v1 and wanting to use legacy RTS skills or those that I have, I want the game to be faster and for things to die faster, actually. So, big fan of that. I really enjoy that.
Was machen Sie anders ist alles.
Ja, im Grunde genommen wollen sie alles anders machen.
Man sieht jetzt schon, man hat
Yep,
I love the visual effects on the Shadow Flyer of this.
Yep.
This is Malok doing Storm. You can see
die Charaktere gesehen.
on the previous clip of the cinematic,
Yes.
Malok was there.
Yes, and you can see that he's pushing that, and also that we don't have control over the convoy. The movement speed of his spin is actually slow, which is in contrast to Mission 6 currently, where it's not slow, and it sucks because you can only clear the entire mission with Amara because everything else is slow and awful. The lighting in this exact frame
this
is
mission is the same. Like I said, the moon is red. You remember that one?
Yes.
This is the same mission based on the just red lightning, and on the top left, close to the camera, you see this bottom left. Yeah, this was close to the wall was in the previous cinematic.
Yes.
So I assume this is the same mission.
I think this lighting is really good. I like this. I think it adds like a horror element to what's happening, which is entirely appropriate if you actually were being invaded by hell. So, this is fine. Oh, this is that same area with the yellow enemies we talked about. You can actually see the yellow of the Hexen right here. Right? Oh, there's a magma dot. Oh,
Yeah,
sick!
the small
No,
Magmadon.
no, look at the... Now, you know what I like about the Magmadon? They emphasized the Magmadon here by putting a black outline on its, like, on the axe part of its head here and of its tail here. So it looks sharper than it did before.
Yeah, true. And now you see Brute is bigger.
Ooh! Ooh, what a fast Brute! The world's
And this
fastest
is charged.
Brute, by the
And
way.
look at the unit. Look at the unit.
Yeah. It's
You see the
huge.
stun. There was a stun.
Yes, yes.
The-
Also, Blockade has at least 2 abilities confirmed. He can jump, stun, and spin. I love that.
Exactly like in the co-op.
I again really love this light, how it just hit all of those units. I think it looked really good. Okay. Also, units are actually... Wow, he got eviscerated. He just died immediately, actually. That was the fastest Blockade death you've ever
I
seen.
guess what they did, the Gaunt's is smaller,
Yeah.
has less HP, but deal more damage.
Okay, I'm in favor of that too. You know what's funny is we can take a brief aside here, Rail. Everyone says, "Oh, I don't want to play the game if it's like StarCraft 2," and yet I see those people play StarCraft 2, and I'll be frank, not play Stormgate. So more movement speed, more damage, lower time to kill actually seems to be what the market wants, and the people who say they want otherwise overwhelmingly don't play. So. Yeah, anything you want to add to that, you're more than welcome.
Smudge, the old Brute, is still here.
Here we go. Smudge. Yep.
And it's, I guess, the
he
boss.
Actually looks more impressive now because he's not the face of every Brute, right?
Yeah. And also has huge AoE.
Yes.
Looks like the Infernal unit that is from the campaign, like hero unit for Infernal.
Yes. Yeah, and I like that a lot more. I still think Wait, are Hellborns? Look how quickly those Hellborns are actually launching
Hellborns
attacks.
shoot faster, are smaller, and we need to see if we don't see the Hellborn dying. But I cannot say how much health the unit has.
Look at how quickly this thing is firing. Well, one spin
it's
attack.
Much faster.
One spin attack from level 2 Amara, who has 1 point probably, if that's how the abilities work, in her ability for spin damage doesn't kill them. Right? So that doesn't say very much. Look, by the way, Smudge is still alive after all of this. So I really like that the units that are supposed to be impactful, like Smudge, are actually like, this is like tanky. I like this. I love how quickly the Hellborn are firing. I don't think it's possibly going to be balanced, but that's totally fine. Okay. This is a nice effect. Okay, so this is the evac. You can see right here, it says that this is the evac. So is this the new evac? Or is this the
new
campaign?
Evac, yeah.
Okay, so do all evacs look like this, or is this a campaign
I think
evac?
all evac gonna looks like this because in
it
later
says evac.
screens,
Yeah,
you're gonna see the evac in the army control.
Okay.
And I personally like this evac more than what we have right now.
Yes, the one that we have right now doesn't feel like it could fit people, and I'm not talking about size. It just doesn't look like a war device, It feels a bit weightless. Okay. These are the resistance enemies.
And you see the Lancer is actually dying.
Yeah. Yeah, they die.
And you have visual effect. Right now you have just skeleton.
And we'll note that hit point bars are normally in representation of 50 inside of Stormgate, so this is a 200 to 220-ish hit point guy. And then level 3 Amara is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost 8, so about 400 hit points, looks like.
Yep.
Yeah, 400, we can see it right here. My apologies. I love it when the game proves me right afterwards.
This is also one of the early missions because she's level 3.
Yep.
And
this area also
Amara
looks
must
pretty
survive.
Good. Yeah. Also, eliminate hostiles near a resource location gives us an understanding of who the not resistance in this resistance, but like the slavers enemy, the human enemies are. So I like this a lot. These buildings look a lot better than they did at the end of campaign mission 1 in the current adventure. Also, the trees here don't look like they offset the Therium, which I was worried about earlier. Okay, cool. There's another evac. Yeah, the servo looks sick, by the way.
I love servo.
You know what I
It's
love
much
about the
better than
servo?
Bob.
Well, the Bob always had this problem, right? Of the Bob looks like you really wanted to have a copyright distinct SCV. And if you don't want people to compare your game to StarCraft 2, maybe stop having units that look a lot like StarCraft 2 units. So the servo actually does that. And also, if you notice, it has that cool sheen to it in its front for its face, the same way as the Vulcan and the Hedgehog. Right?
Yeah. By the way, I think the servo looks similar to SCV than Bob. The Bob is just a kid toy.
Oh, okay.
The servo looks actually nice. Like has jetpack behind, flying, construction stuff.
I hope we get new
Instead
voice
of just
lines.
yeah,
A man
instead
can
of
dream.
robot boy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means there's trigger spawning of units, by the way, which all the editor people will be very happy about. Okay. Yeah, this is her. It looks like it's her, like, okay, first off, this effect is sick. This looks, I know this looks like a Windows 98 loading screen for anyone who's old enough to remember those, but it still looks otherworldly and wrong somehow. Like, look
Looks
at
like
that.
celestial to me.
Yeah.
Lead Amara to the top of the temple. Amara must survive. So, Amara inside this, she's transforming something.
Yes. Yes. I also will note that we have here
And we'll
a
protect
rare
her.
pause screen array of the Neuro Storm Injector, a cutting-edge neural enhancement serum designated for elite operatives. It is active for 120 seconds. It gives 300% cooldown recharge rate, 5 energy per second, and probably 5 hit points per second from what we're seeing. She's also dropping all of these items, or if she's not dropping them, you're about to lose control of her, right? Yep. There's the new fiends, by the way. Listen, they do look like not Zerglings, but here's the thing: that's what people want. Like,
and you can see the units. The Fiend is faster than Brute. Brute is faster than Gaunt. Oh wait. Gaunt is faster than Brute. Fiend is faster than Brute.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice interaction.
Yes. Also, we get the day-night cycle on this mission, which is pretty impressive. I like that. It's attractive.
Yeah, looks much better.
Yes. Well, it also, again, the night effect of everything looking blue really highlights whatever this is and what is going on here. Yep. Yeah, there's probably the automatons. What if we could block off the infernal attack paths, force them to go by those Zoe things? Yeah, sure. Thank you, Riker, for being useful. Big fan of that.
I guess Zoe things are the celestial place.
Yes.
So they fight each other.
That makes sense, right? Because it was weird that there's this ancient artifact that was apparently owned by the leader of the infernal host. After there's been an invasion, Celestials aren't on the scene, and they're just completely unconcerned with the access to this mythical device of like thousands of years ago. So,
and you can see the automaton, this blob, apply the Cabal debuff.
Oh yeah, that's a Zomax. Okay, whatever that was, that's
it's Zomax.
It's an automaton called a Zomax. It sounds like Flomax, but you know. We'll skip that for now. I hope that name changes. Is it just me, or are these protectors getting tougher? Okay, that's like the most hand-holdy way to tell someone that it gets harder. But I will say, I like this, Arail, because one of the big problems that Stormgate has had in co-op and in campaign has been that the items that are created, like the challenge that's being presented, is that maximum difficulty when all of the waves and bases are available. and then once a base or a wave is dealt with, it just never has to be dealt with again. So the difficulty goes down the longer you play the mission, which is the worst possible difficulty, tension, interest curve I could have possibly imagined. But it's there. It's what's been done in the past. So
the best is the Wings of Liberty type of our last mission.
Yes.
Where you have the really hard time on the end of the mission.
Yes. The good tension, right? People want to feel like they accomplished something. They feel like they accomplished something if there's a challenge. Telling them that there is going to be more of it, whether or not any gameplay effect happens here. Riker telling the player that more stuff is happening and becoming more challenging is a positive.
Yep.
Tiefer ans Zeichenbrett gehen, sage ich mal, und vielleicht mehr das machen, was sich die StarCraft-Fans, die sie ja eindeutig
Airborne things. Airborne, that means the flying it. Oh.
Oh, we actually have a voice line you saw a second there from the Zomax.
Zomax is the Cabal portfolio.
Yeah.
Profile. Yeah, he has voice.
Oh, this is, again, I know you want like a fully rendered thing, but this kind of like aggressive yet worried look is very much what Blockade was trying to go for in the first campaign. So, yeah, I like it. It's good.
Yeah. And Amara is not annoying.
Well, also, did you notice that instead of saying, "I'm fine, how dare you ask after me," she was like, "I think I'm okay.
Thank you for asking.
Thank you, yeah."
Ja, genau, dieses Raumschiff ist eben auch ein ganz neuer Teil der Kampagne. Das ist quasi so ein zentraler Hub, den man zwischen den
Something communicated with me.
Da kann man dann mit anderen Charakteren sprechen.
And Arculus. Arculus maybe are not the blades.
Yeah, it's possible.
Arculus maybe can be Celestial, I guess, because the Arculus name is more Celestial stuff. And I will name Celestial unit Arculus.
Quasi so eher technische Verbesserungen für Soldaten, für bestimmte Einheiten. Da ist zum Beispiel sowas dabei.
Oh my gosh, she's actually tolerable. Are you reading the dialogue that I'm reading here? She actually is not like the most.
Fight, really.
Okay, you know what I love about this too? Look at this. Blockade. Warhawk's commanding officer, as befits the dude who is known for his one of the few people surviving the breach. Who's after him? He's the commanding officer, okay? Let's see what her role is. Squad leader. Thank goodness. Okay, excellent.
Finally,
Blockade is actually top tier character. Thank you, game.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was right. This isn't. Ooh, okay. All right.
Wings of Liberty. Or no. This is not Wings of Liberty. It's more like. Or maybe Wings of Liberty because you need to buy it.
Yeah. I get the sense that we get credits by beating a mission, but we get additional ones. Given that the number of additional credits we get are 50 or 60, and we're seeing the
for bonus objective.
Yeah, and the tier 1 units here for the Lancer and the Exo, like, look, this is Quick Draw Hustle, which is apparently being renamed into Quick Draw Flurry.
Attack speed, stack up to 10.
Yes. Oh, okay, yeah, it's different because you don't get movements, but you get attack speed. But notice that this costs 40 credits, and you get, for bonus objectives, 50 or 60 credits. This gives me a reason to think that the number of credits we're actually getting for any one mission, right, is probably around 100. You know what I mean? That would make sense to me, to make the bonus objectives valuable.
Last Lancer, look at this. Last Lancer become the co-op Lancer.
Okay, sick. I love that. I love Lancers that are actually
with huge
badass.
Shield.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm a big fan. Okay. Yeah, I like this.
Cool.
Yeah, are any of the units
Localization, Ruins of Rio de Janeiro.
Yes. I'm looking to see if any of the units are showing off something different or new here, but no, it looks like these are the default images or the current images.
Yeah, but you can see that they didn't update any icons when the Exo was selected, Blockade and everything.
Well, they didn't update at the time of this. I mean, we saw that they had an update even, 2 hours later? Something like that. It would not surprise me if this is like a 12-hour a day, all hands on deck. Trying to get this, because someone said it in Reddit. I completely agree. They do have to get this right. Like, this is
The
This is what
hedgehog need to
happened,
be
yeah.
new. Yeah.
Yeah.
Evac new.
Yes.
Sekunden tödlichen Schaden.
Oh, okay. Increase the movement speed by 10%, allow them to use the suppression fire deploy ability to increase their attack range and slow enemies. Listen, again,
Siege mode.
yeah, don't put any of this in 1v1 without greatly thinking about it or rebalancing it, but I'm always a fan of crazy, stupid, dumb things happening inside of campaign. Right?
This is actually in the co-op.
Okay.
For blockade.
That works. That works too, you know? Works for me.
Kann und trotzdem weiterlebt. Und diese
allow
this is
exos to
crazy.
train in pairs at no additional cost. All right, sick. My favorite AoE unit. I predict right now, this costs 25 credits. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm a one-shot the campaign with this as my only upgrade. I'll take the hardest difficulty, and I'll get no other upgrades, and I will just exo micro my way to victory.
Verbesserungen, die man jetzt
And then you get miasma on face. Yep.
That's totally fine.
ziemlich stark sein, aber dafür kann man nicht alle
Oh, this is another one.
Oh, okay. So there's a research center. There's tiers of like this is very much like what we experienced in Wings of Liberty, right? Where you have to have a certain amount
Regulation
of tech.
can be changed later.
Yes, yeah.
von ihnen in einem Durchlauf freischalten, weil man nur
Okay.
genug Credits
Select a perk
verdient,
of 3.
Missionen, die für
Units train. So they're putting in the gear items. This looks like they're
Yeah.
taking the items from the gear and they're putting in the campaign, which again is very intelligent because again, you want there to be. I think it's far more likely people go from campaign to co-op than go from campaign or co-op to 1v1. So making sure that this half of the experience is aligned is very intelligent.
ein Teil der Verbesserungen
Yeah,
ausreicht.
30% faster. Units regenerate health and they instantly restore. They instantly
Also,
salvage.
man sieht, Sie machen einiges anders. Ich bin gespannt drauf, wie das landen wird. Ich drücke Ihnen ja, wir brauchen mehr gute ATS. Ich drücke
So,
Ihnen sehr die
you know,
Daumen, dass es
Aurel,
schafft.
we've somehow taken a video that was only supposed to be, let's see, 2 hours, 5 minutes, 2:50 to 2:12.
7 minutes. 6
No, we
minutes.
just only put, you know, an hour and a half into a 7-minute
Let's
video.
now check quickly the official video from Frost Giant that you have on the screen.
Yes. I'm making sure
Because
there's
they
nothing.
finish, yeah, and there is nothing else.
Okay, cool. Excellent. So with that, that's the first part, and we're not going to spend an extra hour and a half on this next part. Should be pretty
Because it's
easy.
only 1 minute.
Yeah, you underestimate me, Aurel. But
I'm gonna keep you in
Okay.
1 hour video.
yeah. Okay. So
Blood mid language violence.
okay, this is the EXO.
By the way,
starting
I
intro.
love this. I love the start. Like
Yes.
you have
No,
the
it's sick.
cinematic moments.
Yes. Okay.
But I would like the units go from the evac at the start.
Yeah, this is all the things that we saw earlier. I think the real value add for the German show will be later if someone can translate. If someone, whoever that might be, could translate it, you know, might be useful. You're
And
now
this
just
is more
watching-
quality, higher quality.
Yeah, you're also now just watching everything play at a higher speed than what I was showing previously. So you can actually see like the first impression look of what this looks like. I'm gonna be honest, Aurel, I'm known for doubting and being a bit of a hater.
Glad you're up. I wanted your take on this whole
Okay.
Archivist thing.
Nice.
While I was in that beam, something
Cool.
communicated with me.
I will be honest, known to be a bit of a hater. Some will call me a doomer, wouldn't agree with that assessment. But what I would say is this is definitely a good look for the campaign. It looks like there's a lot more visual noise. There's a lot more visual stimulus. There's a lot more visual clarity. The reworks to Infernals look really good. The differences in mission objectives look really good. I'm the only thing I guess I can't tell from here is whether or not it feels better, because feel is fingertip and Gefühl. It's like the feeling you have of touching the thing, right?
Yeah.
But
By the way, you can go back to the moment where we have this red moon gowns.
Yeah. Let's see.
On this.
Thinking here.
Back.
Okay.
Okay, start from the start. I will tell you when
Yep.
you stop. Now.
Yeah.
You can see the video here is in higher quality.
Yes.
And everything looks better.
Yes.
Or this is the new patch and just they fixed the vision clarity
Yes.
with the effect. But
suspect,
it looks much better. Now you see the guns, actually.
I suspect they did because if you look, they also aren't taking an exact screen cap because it doesn't say what the build version is, who's played in the top left, who's playing in the top left side, right? The UI is hidden in the bottom, so you don't know what their supply is as they're managing all of these things. So, but yeah, overall impressions of the new campaign highly positive. The only thing that's left really to worry about is I do worry about the writing because there were a lot of pitfalls. There were a lot of pitfalls in the first one that I think wouldn't have escaped a creative writing 101 class, but were somehow out there. So I want to make sure that there's nothing like that. And then also the feeling, like, is the tactility, is the responsiveness, does it all align to this increased movement speed, lower TTK that seems to be in the game itself? Also, I just really hope the brute explosion isn't in, because that is enough visual noise to stop a metal concert. But other than that, like, I guess my only big complaints are, outside of speculation, I don't like the new Riker design, and I don't like the brute explosion.
I mean,
I think that's
you don't
about
like
it.
brute explosion at all, or just the size of it?
Truthfully, I don't think that a fire-based explosion effect is the appropriate way to demonstrate that a brute has died and split into fiends when you have a unit in the Infernal faction called the Inflamed Imp, whose whole purpose is to turn on fire and then explode, right?
I think that is easy fix to make Imp, not Flame Imp.
Okay, sure. I also think even if you were to do that, if the Inflamed Imp weren't a problem, I think the visual effect is far too large.
That we both agree about.
Yeah, I don't want it to obscure my understanding of how many Infernal units are left in front of me, right? So long as that's not a problem, I don't have a problem. So long as it is a problem, I have a problem. I expect for the 1v1 people, if any of these apply, they're going to have a lot of problems with Infernal balance. If Infernal has any of this, like, evolution, charge, bonus damage, glowing weapon thing going on, that's going to be a nightmare to balance. I would definitely pick Infernal if you want to win a tournament going into the near future. Listen, I'm just telling you like it is, that's what I would do. And then Riker's design, again, I don't think it's appropriate that he looks the way that he does in the world setting that we have in the game currently. I know that his old model was a bit rough and people didn't like it, and yeah, him being old also undermined Blockade as one of the older people behind the scenes of the Resistance. But truthfully, there was something nice. He had some of that Alarak energy. You know what I mean? Where this person's supposed to be evil and wrong and have no good points, and you're supposed to hate them, but, we don't understand why, but we accidentally gave him a ton of charisma and made him seem highly reasonable and made him an actionable, forward-moving individual that's, like, quite capable and cunning. And I think you lose a lot of that when Riker is just some guy roughly Amara's age, right?
I mean, he's probably not the Amara age.
Okay.
Like he has a beard.
Okay.
Like he looks like old person on the, on the ship, on this art.
Yes.
Because in game he has helmet most of the time. He's wearing the helmet all the time in the game.
Yes.
So he's like Raynor. Just you're gonna see his hair once in a while on the art, and that's it.
Yes, that makes sense. I think
he's in the Raynor age, I think, from the start of like 35 years old, something like that.
Sure. The other problem I have with Riker from the top down, like the isometric perspective, is that he looks like a scaled up Exo, and I'm having a hard time understanding. Outside of his aura, I'm having a hard time understanding what, discerning him from a regular Exo. Right.
Yeah, and like you can see the blockade is actually bigger Lancer, Amara is just Graven. The Riker is Exo. So
Yes.
all heroes are some unit. And they said they're gonna be Atlas hero-based unit in future. So you can assume they're gonna look similar
it's gonna
to
be
the
Trip.
Atlas.
I'm just listen. No one told me anything. I'm just gonna bet that it's Trip. Just throwing that out there. That would be cool.
Yep.
That's my guess. All right. Well, it's been an
And
hour.
I guess we're gonna save other units like Medtech and.
Yeah, that would be cool. It's been an hour 45 minutes, Arail. You did not keep me to an hour, but you will keep me from doing 2 hours for 2 videos, so I appreciate you for that. I look forward to absolutely no one being interested in this, but I also look forward to you and I now having information most people don't have publicly, and just from pixel checking and like going over every second of the items we can see available to us. And
Instant.
Yeah, and I look forward to arguing with people about whether or not something is the case, and then being told I don't know what I'm talking about because we just took 2 hours to do this. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And I'm also
sure. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, of course.
Like always, my friend.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, be safe out there. And overall impression is I'm looking forward to the campaign. We haven't even touched the monetization or the other controversies that might come from that. So, as we learn more, we'll talk more. Take care. Hope this is interesting to everybody else out there. Thanks again, Arail.
Bye.
Bye.